All right, welcome back to the unofficial Maple Leafs post-game breakdown. Yeah, a bit of a tough one tonight. Leafs lose 6-3 to the Minnesota Wild. I don't know. First game back after a long road trip is always tough. So I can't blame them too much on this one. Um, the first ten minutes or so looked pretty good. I thought both teams were pretty fast. It was a pretty, hard-working, fast-paced game for the most part, but Leafs kind of dropped off after a bit there. Minnesota kept up their pace, and it just, Leafs didn't have it tonight. They didn't play as well as they should have. Again, it's tough after a long road trip coming back. They got in late Sunday morning, I think. So you're not going to win every game or get points in every game either. So can't blame them too much here, but it's obviously kind of disappointing when you need points as badly as the Leafs need points right now. So it is what it is. Um, Goaltending, I think, is becoming a little bit of an issue for this team. Definitely needs Stolar's back. There was a little bit of an update on him. It looks like he's getting closer finally after missing, months and months. So that's a positive at least. But at this point, I think Wall's kind of had a couple games in a row here where he hasn't looked sharp. He's done okay, but he's kind of been slipping a little bit. I think you need to kind of rotate Hildeby in a little bit more. He's just more fresh. He's a little bit younger too, obviously bigger. So I think that for now, I'd put in Hildeby, change it up, give Wall a little bit of a rest, and then see if Stolars comes back in that time. And then, of course, you're going to carry three goaltenders or however that's going to work. But with the injuries to these to this team and these goaltenders right now, I don't think it's a bad idea. I'm not exactly sure how they would work that out, but it'd be nice if they could do it. So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those nights where you just kind of go, they didn't have it, and there's nothing too special about it. Matthews scores, which is nice. Robertson kind of gets a greasy one there, so I don't know. There's not many positives to look at for this one. It's just one of those you kind of, I wouldn't say burn the tape, but you kind of punt it to the next one. They play Wednesday, and then they have that big game on Friday, which I will be at the Mitch Marner game in Toronto, which is going to be a hell of a game, hopefully. Um, so yeah, I don't think there's really too much to talk about in this one overall. For most of the game, I was watching Hockey Illuminati's live stream there. I was putting in my comments and whatnot. It was pretty funny to see the amount of Riley hate that there is in this city. Like, you hate to be that guy and to pile on and just not, make it worse, but just to add fuel to the fire. And it's so easy, and I feel bad doing it. But there's times, man, like people are sick of him in the city, man. He's becoming the new Jake Gardner, where even if he doesn't have that bad of a game, people are just still kind of picking at everything he does, and I feel like the writing's on the wall here for Morgan Riley at this point. It just seems like everything is trending towards him being the newest hated player of the fan base, for kind of regardless of how this team does. And I know it's a lot to ask somebody to kind of pick up their life and move after so many seasons here, and he's built a life. He's had a kid and stuff now, I think. So it's obviously so tough, but I think it's beneficial for both parties. I've said this before, to just move on at this point. I wouldn't I don't know. I wouldn't put it past them to try to either like approach him or make some sort of move where he's moved on before the trade deadline, or even at the trade deadline perhaps. And or maybe even in the off season. Who knows how it's really going to work out, but I just think it's trending towards that direction where it's just not a fit anymore. The defense for this team is half decent, but on nights when they have off nights, they have really off nights. And yeah, I don't know exactly how bad Riley was tonight, but there was a couple plays I feel like he just kind of lost coverage. Guys were left wide open. Wasn't reading the play quite as well as he could have done. So, when you have a game like that, everyone kind of just piles on, and honestly, it is kind of shocking though at some point how many people would just take anybody else at this point. I mean, people were throwing out names like Zaitsev and fucking Jake Gardner, and I don't know. It's tough. I love the guy, but I just think it's not a fit here anymore. So hopefully they can figure something out. And for his sake, leave gracefully. Get your video tribute. Everyone's gonna love you in this city if you leave and kind of help his team out. Which is sad to say, but I don't know. I just think it's for the best at this point. For him to move on, unfortunately. Um, I guess another point, we can talk about real quick is Hughes, man. I didn't really see him play that much, but now that he's on Minnesota, I've taken a little bit of more notice to how he plays, and he makes a huge difference, man. That guy is fast. He just directs the play so well on the ice, taking pucks to safe areas and just directing traffic with it. I mean, when you see him play, it's actually surprising how much of a difference that he makes. And maybe I just never paid attention to it before as much, but I think Minnesota's kind of a wagon at this point. Honestly, I think Minnesota can actually go pretty far. Usually they're a team that gets knocked out in the first round like every year. I mean, the Leafs are bad for that, but I mean, Minnesota's had a really bad track record in the playoffs, if I am remembering that right. So this year, I think they're gonna at least make probably the conference final, I would assume, or at least be really in contention for it. It might be a tight series, whoever they're playing against, but I mean, I really do think at this point they're gonna go far, and they are kind of the team to beat. They're playing hard, and they're going to be a really tough team to overcome if you have to get to that next level, that next round. So I think it's something down the stretch, towards March and April. As the season comes to an end, you got to kind of keep an eye on them to see how they're really doing. But I think it looks like they're just going to get better and better from here on out for the most part, especially how well he's fit into that team. It's crazy. So I would not have thought that he would have gone to a team like Minnesota. Kind of a random one out there, but I mean, obviously he knew what he was doing, and it's worked out pretty well. So we'll have to see how it goes for them, but I think it's going to be pretty positive for the most part. Um, yeah, I mean, you know what? I don't really want to do Matthews talk for the most part, but like I thought he was pretty good tonight. He seems like he has his speed back. I've said this before, but there's points now. He's so aggressive. He's just like he's just powering towards the net, like just barreling through guys, knocks the net off. Like he just has a real hunger to his game now that's just been pretty prevalent in the last little while. It's nice to see. I think he's pretty much back fully from what we're used to, anyways. So that's nice to see. A couple other guys in the offense tonight too. I thought Cowan had a half decent game. Obviously Robertson had some good shots there. JT scores too, I think, which was nice, and he had a couple other chances in the game as well, especially towards the end there, where it was just kind of frustrating because a bunch of chances for him when you're in the slot like that. I think he missed one of them where it got deflected, and the next time he has the exact same chance set up, and he just takes an extra step too long to fire it, and it gets knocked away. And that's a play that to me looks like you can kind of see JT's age in that kind of coming up a little bit. If he was younger in previous years, we've seen him fire stuff immediately and just get anything towards the net. Whereas right now he seems to be a little hesitant and takes an extra second for a play or two. And the NHL is so fast, it just, it kind of goes past him there. So I don't know. I think it's just like, for him personally, he's one of those guys that's going to benefit huge from this Olympic break. I don't know. I think he's just getting a little bit tired. The season's long, the season's hard, and he contributes a lot to this group. And eventually, your battery's going to run low. There's not much in the tank for him at this point, I think, just judging by how he's played. So, a little bit of a break for JT, I think, would do wonders for this team. So maybe after the Olympic break, we'll see him go on a huge tear. That's what I'm expecting, anyway. So. But yeah, that's pretty much it though. Tough one tonight. Who do they play Wednesday? I don't know. I've had such a hectic schedule. I don't even remember who they play. Let me see. Yeah, Red Wings. Okay, that's going to be an interesting game. Leafs and Red Wings is always a classic matchup. That's going to be a good one to see. Hopefully they can have a little bit of a better performance in that one, kind of like I don't think they looked slow tonight, but I don't think they were particularly jumpy either. The play kind of got away from them after the first 10 minutes. So Leafs and Red Wings should be a pretty fun one to see, and hopefully that can prepare them for the very emotional Vegas Golden Knights game on Friday. So, yeah, a lot to look forward to. I think we're still back. The parade is still on. We're not dead yet. So, yeah, a lot of positives to look forward to. If you're tuning in, really appreciate it. Thank you. And I guess I'll see you on Wednesday night. Cheers.